Now at 9, candidates for the Indiana Senate debated Friday over some of Indiana's most important issues, what they want Hoosiers to know.
Fort Wayne City Council asking questions following the mayor's OWI arrest.
And borrowers can apply today for President Biden's forgiveness program.
Plus, multiple explosions heard in Kyiv today. More details about the attacks in moments.
Checking on seasonally cold weather and snow chances in my full weather forecast.
Delaware County's only live television newscast from Ball State University's Unified Media Newsroom. You're watching NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Vincent Martorano.
And I'm Anna Chalker. It has truly been a weather roller coaster here in Indiana the last few weeks. You want to take a look at this? It was snowing on campus today, and we're only in the middle of October, but temperatures are supposed to climb back up to the 70s this weekend.
Yeah, Anna, it seems like I might need to pull out my winter coat a little early this year. NewsLink Indiana weather forecaster Eric Segber joins us with more.
Of course, you're looking at quite a roller coaster this coming week with temperatures. And as you look towards that forecast right now, we're looking at over like weather over air right now. It's quite cold area, and it's only supposed to get colder tonight with temperatures dropping below freezing for much of the region. And coming up ahead, we're talking about some seasonally cold temperatures, some rain snow chances, along with some seasonally cold temperatures. Temperatures feel like November, and warmer weather coming up later on in the week. All my full weather forecast.
Eric, thank you so much. Indiana Republican U.S. Senator Todd Young debated with his Democratic and Libertarian challengers in an hour-long broadcast last night. The debate featured Young Democratic candidate Thomas McDermott and Libertarian James Seniak.
Yeah, it started with a discussion on inflation and what changes could be made to reduce it. While Senator Young was critical of the Biden administration, both his opponents blamed Young for contributing to inflation.
He has spent more than Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, and it's time that Hoosiers realize that we need to do better.
Senator Young's been in Washington, D.C. for 12 years and raised the nation's debt $16 trillion since he's been in office. He's the most liberal Republican I've ever met.
Other key topics were abortion, the validity and equality of the 2020 presidential election, and the war on Ukraine.
This is indeed a national security issue that could determine the future of the world.
In their closing statements, Seniak said he is focused on protecting civil liberties, freedoms, and economic stability. McDermott said that Hoosier women trust him to codify Roe v. Wade and criticized Young for supporting Trump's Supreme Court nominees. Young said he won't miss an opportunity to work with the other side of the aisle on economic innovation issues or, quote, good government. This debate comes ahead of the November 8th midterm election.
A reminder that early voting is now underway for all Hoosiers across the state. NewsLink Indiana will bring you exclusive team coverage on Election Day. And another political figure is being looked into. The Fort Wayne City Council has asked the city's attorney to answer several questions about Mayor Tom Henry's OWI crash and the suspension of his driver's license for 90 days. Council President Jason Arp sent the letter to the city attorney Malik Heine on Friday and asked for a reply by the close of business Wednesday. The questions seek information on 12 topics such as leasing information for the Chevy Impala and the mayor was driving, insurance coverage, and whether Henry was ever stopped by police previously. Henry's blood alcohol level was 0.152 after he was arrested the evening of October 9th. Indiana's legal limit to drive is 0.08.
Now to disturbing details as a Muncie man has been charged with battery and neglect of a 14-month-old, and his care was found with multiple injuries. 19-year-old Bradley Joe Kiger was arrested in November of last year after the child was hospitalized. As the investigation continued, he was later released. On Thursday, Kiger was charged with 2 counts of battery and 1 count of neglect, resulting in serious injury. The child's mother, 19-year-old Brittany Grove, was also charged with 2 counts of neglect of a dependent. Police say she has not been booked yet. Doctors at Ball Memorial say child had multiple injuries, including several bruises all over her body, a human bite mark on her arm, and brain bleed. Investigators also say the mobile home they lived in was in poor condition, with a loaded shotgun within the reach of the child. Kiger denies being responsible for the injury. Trial dates have not been set.
Indiana Lieutenant Governor Susan Crouch tested positive for COVID-19 after her office said she experienced cold-like symptoms. Crouch said in a Twitter post today that she had, quote, mild symptoms and will continue to work from home for Hoosiers while following all of Indiana's COVID guidelines. Office spokesman Ron Green said Crouch was at her home in Evansville after testing positive with the COVID-19 virus for the first time. The 70-year-old received 2 initial doses of a COVID-19 vaccine in February 2021 and has since gotten a booster shot.
Life expectancy in the U.S. is still taking a hit due to the pandemic. That's according to new research published in the journal Nature Human Behavior today. Researchers found life expectancy in 2021 was still lower than expected in 29 countries, including the U.S. But while other countries saw some bounce back from 2020 losses, the U.S. actually saw its average life expectancy lower. Life expectancy at birth dropped every year for the U.S. between 2019 and 2021 from 79.8% to 77.4%. The U.S. had the third largest decline, despite it being a country with accessible vaccines. Researchers noted countries that had higher amounts of its population fully vaccinated had smaller rates in life expectancy.
A new congressional report makes allegations against the Trump administration, saying they blocked accurate information about COVID-19. They come in a 91-page report issued by the House Select Subcommittee on the COVID crisis. It says senior CDC employees say they were not allowed to convey information early in the pandemic. One communications officer said Trump appointing Michael Caputo at the Department of Health and Human Services made her feel threatened. Another CDC official says he was not asked to do telebriefings anymore after Caputo found his statements, quote, too alarming. Caputo denies both of these claims and suggested the communication officer's allegations is a case of sour grapes after she clashed with his management style. Other CDC officials say the Trump administration made the process of releasing scientific reports and death tolls unnecessarily complicated. Another CDC official says his team did not order the border to be closed during the pandemic, but was handed orders to do so. The report marks the third investigation by the subcommittee on the COVID-19 response. Borrowers of federal student loans can now apply for President Biden's forgiveness program.
Yet today, the president reaffirmed that the, quote, richest Americans are not eligible for the program.
But I want to be clear who's going to benefit the most. Working people, the middle class. If you earn less than $125,000 a year, you'll get up to $10,000 knocked off your student debt.
People can access the application on the Department of Education's website. The form is short and does not require supporting documents for now.
Yesterday, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue could more aptly be called the Pink House. The White House was lit up with a magenta hue to honor Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Every year in October, breast cancer patients, survivors, and research take the center stage. Reducing cancer-related deaths is a key issue for the Biden administration and its Cancer Moonshot initiative. Coming up, Kevin Spacey testified today in court. Learn more about what he had to say in his defense trial.
And what the White House is allowing to be sold over the counter, how it could change lives across the country. Next.
Riding the bus is an easy thing to do. Last year, we carried 60,000 riders from the Ball State area. 50,000 of those were students. Anywhere you want to go, MITS will take you there.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Several explosions rocked Ukraine's capital city of Kyiv today, killing at least 4 people and injuring several others.
Officials say the latest attacks by Russia were carried out by kamikaze drones, small portable weapons that are hard to detect by Ukraine's air defenses. Chris Wen has the details.
Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, bombarded with kamikaze drones on Monday, according to Ukrainian officials who repeated their calls for Western allies to supply the country with more advanced air defense systems. Kyiv's security forces fighting back, shooting down 36 of 42 drones that were launched by Russia.
The Russians tried to destroy critical infrastructure of our hometown. Before the winter, they want to switch off the electricity and to make an attack to our power plants, stations.
The drone attacks come after Moscow fired hundreds of missiles at civilians across Ukraine last week.
Putin has had a very bad 3 months. His offensive in Donbass was stopped in mid-July. You've had this great counteroffensive by the Ukrainians. And then you had the blow-up of the Kerch Bridge, which is vital for Russian military supplies for their forces in southern Ukraine.
The Biden administration will now factor in Russia's use of these drones in its future planning as it pertains to helping Ukraine, according to a senior administration official. A pregnant woman among those killed in the strikes as search and rescue operations continue.
I suspect Zelensky has no interest in conceding any land of Ukraine to Russia because of the great Russian war crimes committed against the Ukrainian people, which includes the rape of Ukrainian women, the abduction of Ukrainian children, and massive torture.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
Drones have played a key role in the conflict since Russia began its full-scale invasion, but their use has gone up after Moscow acquired new drones from Iran over the summer. Kevin Spacey testified today in his sexual misconduct trial. On the stand, Spacey denied the accusations. He was the first witness called by the defense. Fellow actor Anthony Rapp has accused Spacey of assaulting him during the 1980s when Rapp was 14 years old. The judge also dismissed one of the 2 charges against Spacey. The intentional infliction of emotional distress was thrown out. Now the case continues with just the battery claim.
Kanye West is branching out beyond music and fashion. The rapper says he plans to take over Parler, the social media site that's popular among many conservatives. Today, Parler's parent company made an announcement saying West has made, quote, a groundbreaking move into the free speech media space. West was temporarily blocked from Twitter recently after a tweet he made was deemed anti-Semitic. The deal between West and Parler wasn't disclosed, and it still has to go through a definite agreement before it is set in stone.
For the first time, hearing aids can now be purchased over the counter without a prescription exam or fitting, following an August rule change by the FDA. The White House says hearing aids will soon be available at major retailers, including Walgreens, CVS, and Best Buy, and claim this could save people as much as $3,000 per year. Walmart put them on sale today. They cost between $199 to $999 per pair. Many hope the increased availability of hearing aids will also help remove the stigma attached to wearing devices, while the increased competition could lead to cheaper, better technology in the future. And now we're going to throw things over to Eric with weather.
We're tracking unseasonably cold temperatures for today tomorrow, along with some snow changes possible for tonight. All that is coming up in my weather forecast.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Emotes say a lot, but they can't say it all. Think your guildmate is struggling? Try these dialogue options. Go beyond emotes. Check in with your guildmates at seizetheawkward.org.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
Watching each other's backs,
And banding together.
we should still make an effort
We should still make an
to
effort.
get to know each other.
On a deeper level. Father.
Cosplayer,
Mentor.
actor.
It's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward
come together.
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
9:16 on this Monday evening, and you're taking a live look at the Foundational Science Building. And what you're not seeing now is that we had some snow this morning. It was a very chilly day, to say the least.
Oh, yeah, I was definitely not expecting that when I walked out of my house this morning. Eric, what do you got for us? What can you tell us about what we saw today?
Oh, that's just a piece of we're going to see for the day tomorrow as well, as we're expecting more of those snow chances to move into our area. And right now, we're seeing that those rain and snow chances moving into our area right now, as their bands are getting ready to set over portions of northeastern Indiana right now. And looking at the wide view, this is all associated with the low that's sitting right here in portions of the eastern Great Lakes. Unfortunately, this little bad boy is going to bring us some bad weather for the next couple days for here in Muncie. And looking at those temperatures right now, it's quite chilly out there. Feeling like November. Temperatures around 39 degrees here in Indianapolis, 39 in Muncie, and 33 degrees here in Fort Wayne, near the freezing mark. And speaking of freezing, we do have a freeze warning in place for much of our region for night tonight, as we're expecting temperatures to drop below freezing for much of our viewing area. And this does include Muncie as well. And this means that any plants you do have outside may be harmed by the cold weather. So definitely, if you're heading to bed, before you head to bed tonight, make sure you do take those plants inside before you go to sleep. Those plants aren't harmed by that cold weather. And tonight, those temperatures are expected to drop down to a low of 34 degrees. Chilly night, expecting rains and even some snow showers mixing in with that rain as well, as some cold air may filter in, which will make it feel much colder. And as we do look towards your day tomorrow, expecting a November-like day tomorrow, as we're expecting rain and snow chances to start your day tomorrow. Temperatures around 37 degrees, and then temperatures only warming up to around 43 degrees for your day tomorrow. Looking at a cold afternoon for your day tomorrow, it will feel much more like November with those winds gusting up to 50 miles per hour at times. Definitely the day to stay inside. Definitely also the day if you're heading out for your classes, make sure you do bundle up because we'll feel pretty chilly for your day tomorrow instead of feeling much more like October. But you just check those rain and snow chances for you. Looking at tonight, expecting rain and snow chances for our region. Tuesday morning, we're expecting again the snow showers moving into Muncie. And by Tuesday afternoon, we'll see those showers. You pull out a little bit before you get in more of the action later on Tuesday. But we're expecting most of that rain and snow to rain all off to our east for Tuesday evening. But by Wednesday, overnight Tuesday night, you're expecting more of that rain and snow to move back in before it does pull out once again for Wednesday morning. And by Wednesday afternoon, we're expecting that these clouds to also move out, which will set us up for a warming trend coming up. But that won't be noticed until Thursday. Temperatures back into the 50s. But by the time we get to Saturday, just a day for the homecoming football game, temperatures will be up to 74 degrees. So definitely a great day to go out with shorts on and definitely head to that game. Definitely the perfect day for that. And it only gets better from here as we're expecting that warmer than average pattern to continue over much of the Great Lakes region. Also for much of the region for the next following week as well, as temperatures are expected to remain above average during that time frame as well, with our below average temperatures only centered out far up to the west. A stark contrast to what we were doing a couple weeks ago with that chilly weather. And looking at that 7 day, we're expecting again cold for the day tomorrow and Wednesday, feeling much more like November before we really see those temperatures start to slowly warm up by Friday, with temperatures up in the 60s, and then looking at the weekend temperatures going up to the 70s, and feeling much more like fall once again, with those rain changes also returning by next Monday.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's good to see that the weather's gonna heat up here in the next coming days, because I don't know about you guys, but The snow definitely caught me way too off guard today when I saw it come down.
It was crazy. I didn't expect that happening. I checked on my phone. I was like, it's snowing. I was like, we're only in the middle of October, and then we're going to be hitting 70s this weekend, which is insane to say the least.
Right. That was absolutely a roller coaster, what we're seeing outside.
And that is great, Eric. Thank you so much. Now let's send it over to Dylan for a quick check of sports.
Several Ball State athletes earned awards over the weekend. Plus a recap of Ball State athletics next in sports.
Here's your sandwich, miss.
Oh, thank you.
And your burger.
Awesome, thank you.
And your bowl of boiling water, sir.
After retiring from the NFL, I've been able to spend a lot more time coaching my daughter's basketball teams. It's something I love to do. Through our games and our tournaments, we see all types of coaching, good and bad. And it begs the question, do we really know who's coaching our kids? Do they have the proper training and screening it would take for me to be comfortable with my daughters playing for that coach? Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to screen and train all of our coaches. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
So if one cat has 4 kittens who reproduce every 6 months, how many cats will there be in 5 years? Who's got it? Is this... What is that? Seriously? Who threw that?
Cats are terrible at math, but they sure do multiply. Please spay, neuter, and adopt.
The solution is 10.
Football taking on the University of Connecticut Huskies this weekend at Schumann Stadium. UConn lets it fly early with a 19-yard touchdown just outside the first 5 minutes of the game to put the Huskies up by 7. The Cardinals able to find an answer in the final 5 minutes of the first quarter with a 1-yard Carson Steele touchdown to knock the score at 7 apiece. UConn able to respond big in the second quarter, putting up 2 touchdowns to Ball State's field goal to put the Huskies up 21-10 at half. The Cardinal defense coming out of halftime on a mission, holding UConn scoreless in the second half of play. The offense matching the energy of the defense, tacking on another Ben Von Guten field goal, along with 2 more Carson Steele touchdowns. This gives Ball State a 25-21 win over the Huskies and another comfort behind victory. Head coach Mike New expresses what the win means to his squad.
I just think it speaks volumes about their heart, about the character of this team, about the fight, about the toughness, the resilience, you name it, to come back out in the second half for our defense to pitch a shutout.
The Cardinals will look to improve on their 3-game win streak as they take on fellow MAC opponent Eastern Michigan this Saturday for homecoming. Ball State football's program earned weekly honors after their performance against UConn. Sophomore running back Carson Steele wins Ball State Student Athlete of the Week honor after his 3-touchdown effort, accounting for 18 of the Cardinals' 25 points. On the opposite side of the ball, sophomore safety Jordan Riley earns MAC Defensive Player of the Week. Riley amassing a career-high 14 tackles, along with a pivotal forced fumble to help the Cardinals' second-half shutout. The two believe that their performances were a team effort.
They just take it in their hands, let John, work the passing field, without his 2 guys, and then being able to run it as well, really helped us out.
And defense pitched a shutout the second half. We should have pitched out the shutout the first half, but man, it was just so happy we came out there and got stop after stop after stop.
Steele and Riley will look to keep the momentum rolling as they take on Eastern Michigan. Switching things over to the court, 2 Ball State women's volleyball athletes earn MAC West weekly awards. Sophomore Megan Wolonsky earning MAC West Setter of the Week. Also, senior libero Maggie Huber picks up MAC West Defensive Player of the Week. The duo are coming off a weekend where they took down the Northern Illinois Huskies on Friday and Saturday. This is the second time this season where the two earned these awards. The Cardinals' next matchup will be this Wednesday when they take on the Toledo Rockets for a battle atop the MAC West. And finally, we still have plenty of Ball State programs in this action this past weekend. First up on Friday, Ball State cross country finishing 8th out of 13 teams at the Falcon Invite. Also on Friday, Ball State field hockey take down a MAC opponent in the Bellarmine Knights with a 2-0 final. The Cardinals then traveling to Kentucky where they would fall to the Louisville Cardinals with a final score of 4-0. Staying in Louisville, men's tennis compete in the ITA Individual Regional Championship this weekend. And finally, after a 1-1 tie to the University of Akron, Ball State soccer defeat the Ohio Bobcats on Sunday with a final of 2-1. And hey guys, a big weekend coming up, homecoming for the football team. I'm hoping we can continue that streak to 4 games.
That would be great, and I know we had a great weekend as well with other sports, so it's just nice that we had that kickstart to start the week and just hopefully keeping us in that Cardinal spirit to go on as we continue.
Absolutely no. Hopefully we make it 4 games straight. You know, in the beginning of the season, wasn't really looking great for us, dropping our first 3. Now we're on our way to get 4. So thank you, Dylan. Chirp, chirp, Cardinals. Take a look at today's kickoff event for Homecoming Week 2022.
And we have a look at your Homecoming Week forecast after the break.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go. Never gonna let
Thank you.
Just like the rules to surviving Zombieland, there are steps you can take to be prepared for an emergency.
It's the right thing to do.
Talk with your family to make a plan. Look for safe areas to meet up if separated. And stock up on supplies. It's never too early to get prepared, so start now.
Right now?
Right now. You can't predict emergencies, but you can be ready.
You're welcome, America.
Visit ready.gov today to learn more.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a 4th ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. My name is Janice English and this is your campus coverage. Today, the Homecoming Week festivals have finally begun. From 6 to 8, they held a food truck festival that also included a DJ and interactive games. Some of the food trucks were seen were Karma Kitchen, the Three Bears, and A-Team Concessions, and more.
Hi guys, so I'm most excited for just the feeling of community that we have here today. We've worked really hard to put this together, and I'm so excited to see the great turnout, even in the cloudy and snowy weather. I am most excited, I think, by Karma Kitchen. I've heard really good things. They hyped it up a lot, so I'm excited to see what we have.
And if you missed today's homecoming event, tomorrow they'll be hosting a student scholarship talent search in Pruitt Hall.
That food looked delicious, and even though it was a little cold, it still was pretty much fine that they got to eat some delicious food. Now we're going to go ahead and send it over to Eric for a look at the weather for the upcoming homecoming festivities.
Again, looking at tomorrow, Wednesday is not going to feel like fall at all, as the temperatures will be feeling much more like November for the next couple of days, with as much as possible through the day tomorrow. And it seems warmer than average temperatures return by Friday, with temperatures back up in the 60s. And then looking at the homecoming weekend, looking at gorgeous weather, temperatures in the mid-70s for your weekend, before those ranges do return back by Monday. But definitely take advantage of this weekend, because look at that beautiful weather for the next for that time frame.
That's all tonight from NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to join us again here tomorrow night at 9. Streaming live on the NewsLink Indiana Facebook page.
And for news anytime, anywhere, you can go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night.